the first idea we started from is that we have two main pillars to build this model. And there is a third pillar which results from the combination of the first two. And these pillars are collaboration on one side, of course, and you see here a list of possible meaning of this collaboration. This list, we have to say, is provisional, is not fully accurate. It's already a bit consistent, but we have to check it again to refine it based on our theoretical frameworks, also based on the results we had from the review and so on. But the first pillar is collaboration. The second pillar is video-based technology. Again, here we have labels coming from the review. And from the intersection of the two, or from the interaction of the two, you also have objectives, learning objectives, because this is a pedagogical model. So the resulting of the interaction between collaboration and video-based technology is towards learning. For this reason, we gave relevance to the learning objectives already here. We will see in a minute, however, that this intersection permeates the whole model also in a different way. Before, we also want to say that beside the pillars, there are other kind of prerequisites about which we spoke a lot in Tartu. These prerequisites involve all the actors taking part to the video-based collaborative learning, video-supported collaborative learning activities. Then they refer both to the teacher or to the teachers and to the learners. And if we come to these prerequisites, we could think about them in terms of values, beliefs, skills, attitudes, and also other. But then all of a sudden we realize that we are speaking about agency. And if you remind the model that Ellie presented us from her latest article, that's exactly what we are speaking about. So at the end, we have the foundations of our model that could be depicted like that. We have agency to the bottom, and then we have the intersection from collaboration, which is the pedagogical vision, and the video-based technology, bringing together also some learning objectives. Metaphorically, then, this is the base on which to build the model, and also the support of the model. That's why there are some arrows here in the background that vehicle also the idea that the first layer, this first layer, is the impulse to inform, to give form to the model itself. And we could also bring it to the left, just for graphical reasons, and see that here we have it again. And the model, as I said, the first sketch brought us to think about the model in terms of an instructional model. This means that we can insert these two axes, where the x-axis represents time and the y-axis represents our learning activity, or better, our video-supported collaborative learning activity. So VSCL stands for video-supported collaborative learning. And this is already the result of our intersection. But then I have to go back to better clarify it, as I promised, because if we think to this as an instructional model, it is then clear that we set learning objectives at the beginning, we design and plan an effective use of our video solutions and of our collaborative pedagogies, and we aim at specific learning outcomes that can also be measured. So let's keep in mind this gray substratum, as for the sake of readability, I now remove it from the slide. So this is already in the background, keep it in mind. But if I come back here, we say our quadrants, and on the left I can start listing some activities like capturing videos, creating videos, peer commenting on videos, sharing ideas on video, also group conversations, dialogues, grounding, also video supported, reflection in classes or in circles depending on the context, and latest but not least, also assessing activities, video supported collaborative learning assessing activities. And if I put on the right some label, some legend, you see that can be some video using presence, that's the green square, some video use at distance in asynchronous mode, or some video use at distance in synchronous mode. And from combining these activities, we could have learning scenarios a long time. So, for example, we could capture in presence or create in presence some videos collaboratively. Then we can peer comment them at a distance in an asynchronous way. Then we can have, again, at distance, asynchronous group conversation, or even synchronous if I would turn the red dot into a black dot. Then we could have in-presence conversations or reflections. Then we could have assessing activities, and then again creating in presence, and so on. So we can compose different kinds of learning scenarios based on what we did. And that's why, no, then a third dimension. Because if we look at the collaborative part of the model, we can also define or depict into these two axes a third dimension. With this spiral, we would like to introduce a third dimension, which is the level of collaboration. And of course, there could be, theoretically not, because we speak about video-supported collaborative learning activities, but there could be also some parts of the scenario where the collaboration is just missing, I would say, so the individual level, but then we could pass through a cooperative level of collaboration, where cooperative means working together on a learning task, a collaborative level, which is already something more, which is learning together on a learning task, and finally have the knowledge building level of collaboration, where collective critical design thinking, arguing on basis of authoritative resources, contributing to the goodness of the community are the possible activities.